1969, a dimly lit factory floor in Sao Paulo. Sparks fly, metal groans, and a strange six-wheeled machine rolls forward for the first time. It isn't sleek or impressive, it looks rough, low, wide, almost improvised. Like something built out of necessity, not ambition. Most experts at the time would have dismissed it. They would have been wrong. That machine, the EE-9 Cascavel, or Rattlesnake, would become one of the most widely used armoured cars of the Cold War. Over 3 decades, more than 2,800 units spread across 25 plus countries, fighting in nearly 20 conflicts across 4 continents. And it all began with a problem. In the 1960s, Brazil's military relied on aging American World War II vehicles, Greyhounds, Stuart tanks and half-tracks. But as US priorities shifted to Vietnam, that supply line began to fade. Brazil had a choice: remain dependent or build its own future. It chose to build. At the centre of that decision was Engessa, a small, unconventional company. Not a traditional weapons manufacturer, but a firm known for building oil industry trucks capable of surviving brutal terrain. Instead of designing a tank from scratch, Engessa did something smarter. It adapted what it already understood. The breakthrough was its boomerang suspension system, a rugged, articulated setup that kept all 6 wheels grounded even over extreme terrain. Each wheel could move independently, climbing and dipping almost a metre at a time. In deserts, jungles and broken landscapes, this gave the vehicle a major advantage. By 1974, full production began. The Cascavel weighed about 14 tons, powered by a reliable diesel engine that pushed it past 100 kilometers per hour with a range of nearly 800 kilometers. But speed alone wasn't its strength. Mounted on top was a 90mm cannon, capable of firing armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds, strong enough to threaten Soviet-built tanks like the T-54 and T-62 from the side. It also carried over 45 rounds, more than many of its competitors. This wasn't a vehicle built for short engagements, it was designed for endurance. And soon, it proved itself. Libya became one of the first major buyers. By the mid-1970s, Cascavels were already in combat along the Egyptian border, and they performed well. Fast and agile, they began outmaneuvering heavier tracked tanks in open desert. They didn't fight like tanks, they hunted them. Word spread. By the late 1970s, Iraq ordered over 380 units. During the Iran-Iraq War, Cascavels operated across vast terrain where speed mattered most. In several engagements, they struck quickly, repositioned, and attacked again, outpacing heavier armor. In a strange twist, both sides ended up using them. Iran had acquired over 150 Cascavels of its own, a Brazilian armored car, fighting itself in a Middle Eastern war. But its story wasn't limited to open battlefields. In 1985, in Bogota, Colombia, Cascavels were deployed during the retaking of the Palace of Justice from insurgents. Their cannons blasted through reinforced structures, placing the vehicle at the center of one of the country's most controversial military operations. Then came Africa. In 1987, during the conflict in Chad, Libyan forces equipped with Cascavels faced an unconventional enemy, fighters in pickup trucks armed with anti-tank weapons. The result was shocking. In just hours, a heavily defended Libyan base fell. Dozens of Cascavels were captured. A vehicle designed for mobility had been outmatched by even faster, more flexible tactics. It was a harsh reminder: no machine is invincible. And yet, the Cascavel endured. By the early 1990s, it was still in service during the Gulf War. But this time, a critical mistake was made. Iraqi forces used them in static defensive positions, stripping away their greatest advantage: mobility. Coalition air power destroyed them one by one. The lesson was clear. The Cascavel was built to move. Without that, it became vulnerable. Still, its legacy was already secure. Compared to rivals like the French AML-90 or the Soviet BRDM-2, the Cascavel offered a rare balance of firepower, range, and terrain performance. It wasn't heavily armoured, and it wasn't meant for direct tank battles. That was never its role. It was built to move fast, strike hard, and survive where others couldn't. By the early 1990s, production ended, but its story didn't. Even today, decades later, hundreds remain in service, upgraded and modernized. From deserts to jungles, from city streets to open battlefields, the Cascavel proved something that reshaped military thinking. A wheeled vehicle didn't need tracks to be deadly. Sometimes, all it needed was speed, simplicity, and smart engineering. And that's how a rough, improvised machine from a Sao Paulo factory floor forced armies around the world to rethink what wheeled firepower could truly achieve.